in your books, when in the first book, you explain, you mentioned something about no mind. Okay, can you explain exactly what you mean by no mind and how can this benefit to people who are watching this video?
Okay, no mind. It's literally comes from the Japanese satori, which is to have silence in your mind, which is what all meditation, all the people are looking to do. They're looking to silence the mind. So in other words, you don't have any interruptions going, well, you've got to get some food, your TV program's starting soon, or you've got to be here. No interruptions. No mind is complete stillness of mind. Now, if you can't still your mind, then how can you create what you want, Now, no mind is effectively when you're in a position where you, if you're starting to create something, for example, because all creation takes place in the mind, and if you're starting to create it and you're being, you're self-doubting it, well, I don't think this will happen, or I doubt that, or well, what if this doesn't work, or and you can't create, so you have to have stillness, you have to have a freedom from the rocks being chucked at you, and so no mind is a tool. For example, when I'd never looked at, I always looked at meditation as being something that took far too much time. But I liked the idea of the result they got from it, but it took far too much time. And when I really worked on my mind for those 21 days, I really sunk into it. And I learned how to still my thoughts in a fraction of a second. So, I could go from, clutter in my mind to silence and perfect stillness in no time at all. Literally in no time at all. And once you're in that position, the stillness, all of a sudden your energy rises, your creativity goes through the roof, everything. It's just the whole enjoyment of life. And I'm literally 5 years on from that moment now, and I live in a state of silence between thoughts. I'll sit there and I'll consider something, and then I'll just be silent, and I'll just be present and looking around, seeing the world and that sort of thing, just enjoying wherever I am, whatever I'm doing at that particular moment, and not thinking, because your mind is like this power tool, and the mind is there to be used. But what happens with most people is their power tool is running constantly every day, and then when they're in their sleep, of course, they've got it going on in their dreams as well. So their mind never switches off. The people get that moment of pleasance in the morning. When they wake up in the morning, they're just sitting there and it's all nice and warm, and they're like, oh yeah, this feels good. And then all of a sudden, as my friend described it, this tsunami of garbage comes over them from all of the things they've got to do in the day and that sort of thing. They cannot silence their mind. And without
that's exactly the way you explained that. It's exactly the way my girlfriend explained once to me, that the exact thing, right? Because as I said before, she's been with depression, or she's been dealing with depression for all these years. And one of the things that helped her the most, as she told me, was applying the no mind stuff. And it was like, it's like she's having all this noise, all these thoughts in her mind about, all the things she has to do during the day, that she's not going to have enough time, and that she has to please so many people and all that she's not good enough, all these thoughts come into her mind. And it's like all this, it's like having the radio on, with full volume. And by applying no mind, it's like just turning it off. Yeah, and then you have that silence, and then you're calm, relaxed. And now you feel like, okay, I have a break. Now I can
choose
do things better,
to bring in. The thing is, once you can silence your mind, let's say it gets, occasionally, it doesn't happen very often now, but occasionally I'll be attempting to do too much, and 3 or 4 things will try and come in at once. They'll be like, nope, silence, and that's it. Right, okay, I'm dealing with you now. And so I bring in the thought I want to think about, whereas the other 3, I'll have to wait until I'll deal with them, and they've gone away. And once you master this, and it can take a while. I mean, I had a friend who said to me, he said, Andy, I can't get no mind. And he was about 3 months into reading the books, and I said, because a lot of people get it on the first time of trying. Some people it takes 4 or 5 times, other people, whatever. But he couldn't get it. And I said, look, David, just keep going, because when you get it, mate, it's going to be the best. and I got an email from him, and he got it on his. He sent me the email a week after, or 2 weeks after his birthday. He said, "I've got it on my birthday." He says, He says, "I haven't left it since." He says, "It's the most fantastic position." He says, he'd been meditating all his life, and of course, the end goal of meditating is to be able to still the mind and that sort of thing. And he was able to do it now in a fraction of a second. And it's just you literally, you don't even snap your fingers. It's instant. You don't have to do anything. It's just done. Silence. Right. Okay. Orderly progress here. Put here. And it's almost like you're the commander of your thoughts, and you're saying, right, you can come in now. Let's look at that one, right? And when I finish with you, you can go, and then it's your turn. You can come in next. And no mind allows you the ability to silence.
Yeah, it's the same in business. It's like, for example, I am doing different projects right now, and today I had the interview with you. So, and I also have to do other things for my other projects, right? And it's like a lot of tasks that I have to do in order to get this project going. But what I did was, today I'm just going to focus on the interview, and that's it. So I just, did the presentation, review the questions, all that, set the time, everything just about the interview. And sometimes what I do is when I feel that overwhelmed or the anxiety, what I do is, I stop doing that, whatever I'm doing. I go to the kitchen and do the dishes. The kitchen and I are enemies, like really, really bad enemies. We hate each other. Okay. So this is what I do. I just stop going, do the dishes. That stops the whole thing. I don't think about anything else, just the bloody dishes. When I finish, I come back to the office and keep working. So it's just an amazing.
Has this habit of being busy and being overwhelmed and being rushed and all that sort of thing. And as I say in the process, I said, if you find yourself too busy, well, stop, do nothing.
Yeah.
Because you've got to demonstrate control. You take that control. And then if we touch on the law of least effort, I'm sure at some point, but have you noticed that the work all of a sudden just gets easier when you do less of it? Yeah.
That's exciting. It's amazing. It's just amazing the way it works.
Yeah, it is. I love it because the less I do, the more I get done. Once you get to that mind state, then wow, you didn't have to achieve some stuff.
That's the law of least effort, as you explain in the book as well.
If someone wants to really up-level their standard of the quality of life, their vision of personal growth and achievement in terms of business success or family relationships or personal growth, I mean, it's phenomenal. It is transformative.
Since reading the books, I don't judge people. I don't worry about anything. I've got the techniques to, if anything comes into my mind, I think, well, that's not helping me. So I don't worry. I don't get stressed. I live in the now, and just a lot more peaceful. And I just feel that life's going the right way.
I have found out that things like stress, fear, anxiety, these things are illusions. And when situations come up in your life, if you can actually just refer back to at least learning those things that you've learned through the books, it makes your life much easier. It makes your life better, and it starts, in my case, to put me on a better path.
As everything really valuable in life, most things are really simple, and it's all about finding the things that you love to do, and the financial benefit is a byproduct of that. Yeah.
Who he is being just speaks volumes. There's a wisdom, there's a knowledge, and there's a real generous sharing of the heart that comes across that makes all the difference in the world.
So his philosophy is different to other personal development books because he shows the practical way of personal development or his concept.
And one useful thing I've done through reading the books is to actually stop watching TV like a robot, and it's freed up time for me to do things like read books, which I think will do me far more good than just sitting in front of the TV watching a whole string of programs that I never even remember or do me any good,
My mind had been shifted significantly. I understand more about a lot of things. My mind opened more, and I know for sure that by applying these techniques, I'm living my design.
I like the way he delivered it in simple language so that the lay person in it can understand.
There's a system in place that teaches, it shows us that if we, follow these steps and apply it with vigilance and commitment, it's possible to have a real powerful transformation.
Since I've read the books, my worries and fears have all gone. I am 100% happier, and I live my life to the full.
So it gives you a purpose and a sort of focus, and perhaps a start and end point, so you know exactly where you're going to. Because the hardest part of any journey is actually taking the first step.
So, yeah, I do know that it's going to change things radically on all fronts. Whatever you want can happen, actually.
Just do it. It's just to take you to that level. You'll know what you want, or if you don't know what you want, you'll know how to find out what you want. You'll know how to get the things that you want in your life, and you'll have great fun.
We can learn and understand things, but when we actually learn to know it and integrate it and apply it in what we're doing in our lives, anything is possible, and that is so exciting.